What's up, everyone? My name's Lisa. I'm going to do an energy reading here for Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine energy, Twin Flame. You know that here on my channel, I speak of the Twin Flame journey with you guys in regards to the messages that I receive, as well as in tune with my own personal journey. And what it has been a deep dive within to bring me into a place of balance, to where that I can be in the moment. And when I do lead astray, I'm not outside that box for too long, right? And helping me place myself first, right? It's self-love. It's ended up being this self-love journey, okay? A place to dive deep where I can learn to love myself unconditionally, as well as like look at other people with kinder eyes and love unconditionally as well. Doesn't mean that I'm perfect in any way, okay? Because I am just like you and continuing to walk my path and understand and understand myself, right? As well as others. So, but I have, since being on this journey, it has brought me to an even deeper level of understanding of myself and made me more courageous in who I am and to share my voice, which that in itself has been extremely healing, because I come from a life where I felt extremely silenced, where, you know, my say or voice didn't matter, right? So it has brought in a lot of healing, and that is what I'm here to share today with you, is the messages of guidance and hope as you go on your way, getting to know yourself. We all have a divine masculine, divine feminine energy within, and you can listen to these messages in regards to that, but also in relation to your counterpart, right? Because we're always pulling somebody in, right? And a message that I got earlier today that I meant to share today right now is they were all meant to be. Whoever you've come into connection with, they were always meant to be, because they've taught you, right? And I really honestly believe that when you love somebody, it never really goes away. The love is always there, you know. And what this journey has also gotten me to embrace is forgiveness, at forgiveness towards those that I feel like may have broken my heart or whatever, you know. It's just so that I can release even more resentment and free myself, right, of the burden of just self-doubt and whatever else heartbreak has inflicted upon me, you know, that I've embraced with heartbreak, you know. But just to look at everyone that's come into my life is meant to be. We're all meant to be, because we are all interconnected, right? God created us all in his likeness, and he lives inside of all of us, right? We all have the power to create any life that we want. So whatever you choose, whatever brings you happiness, like, just know that you're doing whatever is meant to be, okay? So whether that brings you chaos or freedom, some people get off on chaos, you know. I know that I was freaking into that shit too, you know. Look, share space, telepathy, co-creation, communing, and honoring, right? Look, these are your higher selves. It's like paying attention to your higher selves. It's being guided by your higher selves, actually tuning into yourself, right? Definitely divine connections, also connecting with our galactic higher ups. Yeah, I'm getting Arcturian, Lemurian. Look, it says Metatron, wholeness, commune. There's a lot about commune. So community, learning how to work with others. Okay, third eyes are open, right? There's this like new birth, right? If you feel refreshed, or I feel like within this like next week, especially with this new moon that's coming, I believe it's on like Friday or Saturday, depending on where you are in this beautiful universe. you'll feel recharged, refreshed. And look, even the candle I used today, look, it says renew on it, okay? And it's blue for your throat chakra, the fish chakra. Look, impurity. This is what this journey really like, to purify all the parts of you that you feel are blackened or doomed and gloomed, because along the way I've learned to love those parts of me, even the parts of me that have been um, gotten down and dirty. You know what I'm saying? It's like it all brought me to where I am here right now in this moment, which is the only moment that matters, right? So um, yeah, play. Look, this is what I'm trying to learn right now too. So it's just about, it says have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious, right? So for a long time, this journey, I was I felt like called upon by God, and the things that I've experienced along the way over the years, um, have been, I've never heard anybody talk about things like that. And so I've really, even along my own spiritual path and the way that I do my tarot cards, it's like, it's different, and um, I have felt this obligation towards God, but I've to do the right thing or make the right choices. But sometimes, a lot of times, I've overthought. It doesn't mean that I haven't made mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes, right? But it's learning how to not take myself so seriously. When I, along this way, have made such huge mistakes, right? So maybe you're in some awareness right now of yourself, of like where you're viewing wherever you've been or whatever you've done, um, or you're seeing other people with harshness. Okay, yeah, because there's like this whole reveal since that last big full moon. It's like we're seeing ourselves as who we are, we're seeing others as who they are, we're seeing our workplaces as is, we're seeing like just everything. We're finding out like where the problem actually lies. Okay, sometimes, or most of the time, this awareness has to do with, at least in my experience, it has been that the awareness has been that the problem has been me, right? So um wanting to do the right thing, wanting to make amends, right? Okay, so just slow your roll, just the awareness of whatever the problem is a huge step, right, in the right directions. Okay, I said a huge, what I heard was, yeah, and they just said to me, I said a huge step for mankind, which was about what I was about to say. But that it's a huge step for mankind in the right direction, right? Accountability. Okay, because it's awareness is the first step in change, but it requires action to actually change. And I know for me, and maybe this is an awareness that others are having, is that once I take that step forward, it's like that's when the change, it's like the actual change that I want to see in my life. It's like I have to make a fucking move, right? So I have to do something. So it's like I can't rely on others, right? And this has been terrifying, to realize, because that's another thing that this journey has brought me towards, was self-reliance, right? But also it's more like a God reliance, right? Like first I developed my relationship with God, and that came in piecemeal. But I will can honestly say, as when I got sober, I've been sober for 24 years now. um, I really thought God was done with me. And when I made a commitment to just like listen to God or go for getting to know God, it was like a leap of faith, because I just surrendered to the fact that people might think I'm crazy if I really freaking just lean on God. But I had no other explanation for the day that I found out I was pregnant with my son Jason when I was about 3 months into staying sober. And I was really kind of only doing it for, until my mom said I could come back home or whatever. But, this particular day that I found out that I was pregnant, that it was confirmed, I dropped to my knees and I was heartbroken. I was devastated. I was like, God, how could you do this to me? Okay. Just not even making the connection that God did not make me pregnant, I'm the one that made the choice to sleep with the dude to get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I was, I dropped to my knees and I'm crying and whining to God. And in that instant, and it literally just took seconds, but I saw from my peripheral vision from both sides, just a fast forward movie of my life. And God showed me who I was, right? He showed me a liar, he showed me how manipulative I've been. He just showed me all those parts of me. I wasn't just this nice girl who drank too much, snorted too much cocaine and a little bit too much cocaine. And, I was a liar, a cheat, a thief, right? And I was so good at manipulating that I had manipulated myself to believe that I was a good person. But it's easy to believe like when everybody else around you is doing the same kinds of things. But anyway, he showed me where I had been led astray. One of the biggest things and one of the first things that I stopped doing was gossip. When I saw myself gossiping in that thing, and just seeing how my gossip had hurt others, and then to be in a position then at that time where I became a gossip, gossiped about in a big way, and to my own doing, and because of my own doing, I just really couldn't excuse or deny the fact that movie, I was showing that movie, and I was like, received that moment where I was just like, I knew I was never going to drink or do drugs again. And I knew that I just wanted to be a better person. Like, no matter what, I was going to do it. Like, I knew what drinking again or using drugs again was going to do. I knew where it was going to take me. I felt that I had honestly tried, many times before to stay sober, and I did not think it was going to work for me, but I had nothing left to lose, and so I was just like, fuck it, I'll do it long enough to say, so I can say I tried it your way and it didn't work, right? I didn't really have hope that it was going to work. I know that it was God that showed me that vision of my life, right? There was just no other explanation. Uh, Over the years that I've been sober, I continue to develop my relationship with God. But back then it started with little things, giving him little things. I trusted no one when I got sober, everything had been conditional in my life. And uh, that's the way that I operated. So to undo all that stuff took a lot of patience from God, and it took a lot to be open to the truth of who I really was, yeah, so I take it serious. I take it serious. And there were a lot of times where throughout my healing journey that I did certain things, like I took uh, what I was healing from. It's like I did it in sections, right? Like there was like a whole side of me that I would keep quiet, right? And all that had to come to the forefront eventually, right? And it came out in a big way. And you know, and having to heal and make peace with that part of me, the part of me that was just like the um you know, promiscuous, or known as whatever I was known as. I was very sexy and seductive, and that's the way that I always dressed, and that's the way that I always, or I was comfortable being viewed. And I used to base a lot of who I was on how I looked, right? And uh so even that part of me, that girl that had been, raped, or, you know, slept, went ahead and like slept with someone even when I didn't want to, or did it, just for whatever reason, right? And embracing that part of me as well, has been, it was a journey. It's been a journey. It's still an ongoing journey, to not go to, because what I did was I went to, I just like stopped, sleeping with people. I've been celibate for years, and that is like astonishing in itself, because I am a woman. I enjoy, you know, sleeping with people as much as anybody else, and but I've also learned along my journey that everybody has energy. There's an energy exchange, and every time you even like touch someone, let alone sleep with someone, you are, you know, carrying that person's energy. You take on that person's energy, not to mention just the energy that you get like just going into Walmart, you know what I'm saying, or Home Depot or whatever. And so there's been a lot along the way that I've had to relax into, and as I was learning, I took it very serious. I didn't want to disappoint God, right? And before I could even like bring it to myself, it was like I was doing this to, because I was so grateful for him saving me, right? And I looked at all my hardships that I've endured as a single mom, as a single sober mom, okay, with children that were not healthy when they were born, and all the other battles. One day I'm gonna like really tell you guys my story, right? Because um, it's a story to tell that needs to be shared, and I know this, and I've just kind of been leaning into my own empowerment of my own self, and waiting for God to give me the okay to go ahead and share that story, my story. Um, so, like, here I am now, I got sober 24 years ago, but about, I would say, 11 to 13, between 11 and 13 years of sobriety, all shit hit the fan, just back to back to back. Not that it hadn't stopped, like, because it pretty much, since I've put down drugs and alcohol, uh, life has hit the fan, right? Like the shit has hit the fan. But okay, so here I am now. You know, it, I got this like deeper spiritual awakening through, you know, and after stopping alcohol and drugs. It's I was awakened to a whole nother world, or a whole nother reality, and it's taken me even deeper into understanding myself and seeing the world as the supernatural world that it actually is, and what I've learned is that, or where I'm at now, is at a place of starting over as someone with a lot more tools and understanding. you know I've gotten to the other side of the battlefield where I don't feel that I'm fighting anymore, and I do know today that my purpose is to live my life and do my life and share my messages as they come to me, share my story so that others know that they can get out of hell too. That's the short story. And for a long time, I felt like I couldn't play because I have very much been in survival mode. But I have been blessed with peace and with a job today that I enjoy going to and gives me money to pay my bills. And I'm little by slowly getting above the red line because I've been below it for a really long time and I've never really had extra to come out of it. So these tears are tears of gratitude. Um, I encourage you to continue to lean into your becoming, right? If you are going through your awakening right now, because as we end 2025, many people are going to be waking up to a more spiritual reality. And it can be terrifying at first to see things that uh, we've been told don't exist. And it's all good. Okay, it's all good. And I'm here for that. I'm here for you, right? On my channel, I've been making videos for like the last 10 years, and there's so much information and on and in my videos, and so I will encourage you to just go through my channel, and whatever title sticks out to you, just go to that and watch it. There's thousands. I have like 1,600 videos or something like that. And I love making them, and I'm never going to stop making them because I know God wants me to make them. And it doesn't matter who sees them because they're for whoever's meant to see them. And that's why I make them. And so just know, we don't have to take ourselves so serious. And I really feel like that is a huge lesson that I've learned, that to laugh at myself and to there's some serious shit, where I thought was like I was going to die because of it, happening, that I can laugh at now, and um but it takes continued effort to continue to move forward, right? And to embrace uh me and take accountability for me and my own actions, and make a decision whether or not they're actions that need to change, or do I want to keep on doing what I'm doing with the awareness that I'm going to keep on getting what I've always got, and because then it's a choice. It's not that's what's happening. It's like we're moving out of uh, like not being able to we're moving out of denial. God's put everything in our fucking faces. It's like, no, you can't blame anybody else. You can't point the finger at anybody. It's like, this is a choice. Whatever you're doing is a choice. And you got to get right with it. Like, you got to get right with yourself. It's like, it's all good. And we're getting moved to a place of healing and acceptance for where we are. Like, we're not in a fucking race, dude. Your only competition is who you look at in the mirror every single fucking day, and that's it. That's it. Period. Point blank. I don't know why I hear that. I never talk like that outside of these videos, but somebody up there that I that says that to me, and so I repeat it because I feel like somebody out there must talk like that or needs to hear it that way. So anyway, I'm gonna do the divine masculine, divine feminine energy reading, but I'm going to end this message because it's already 25 minutes. So I hope that this helps. And yeah, I'm here if you need me, and stay on the lookout for the divine masculine, divine feminine energy reading I'm about to do. All right. Bye.